You know, there aren't really a lot of things in life that bother me or make me angry. I would say I'm a pretty chill, go with the flow kind of person. I understand that everyone in life, including you fine folk, are just going through your own journey. As for me, I have made mistakes and I will continue to make mistakes. I just do my best to avoid them and make sure they don't negatively affect my life in the future. However, there is something that really pisses me off and some people that really grind my gears. For example, I do not like ignorant people that feel the need to chime in on somebody's personal life and tell them what they should or shouldn't be doing, especially when said person didn't ask for your opinion and you know damn well you don't have your house in order. I don't like when somebody makes plans to meet with me or get lunch, dinner, whatever, and they bail at the last possible second without a legitimate excuse. We were planning on getting sushi and you bailed. I'll tell you right now, you got a strike, and I don't really settle for strike three. Two, and you are out of here, no questions asked. I also don't like people that are so dumb that they make mistakes that could be potentially dangerous or deadly and ruin somebody else's experience. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about here in this video. By the way, just to give you guys an update, I am currently on board the Carnival Pride. It has been a day. And as for the drinks in the back here, I don't drink that kind of beer. This actually was not supposed to be my room. I found some subscribers and I gave them some money to switch rooms with me. They took the inside, I took the balcony, extended balcony at that. And well, I'll talk about that story on my vlog on my other channel, Jay the Nomad. Make sure you go subscribe to that one because, well, I'm going to be putting out my whole experience here on board the Carnival Pride. This is the ship that broke down. Now, getting into today's topic, as somebody that has not only worked on cruise ships, but also sails on cruise ships as a passenger these days extensively, I would argue this year in 2023, I'm on a ship pretty much every single week with multiple lines. As you could imagine, I have seen and heard a lot of things, especially because I have such a wide connection now with a lot of crew members. If something happens on a ship, I'm usually getting the video. If you guys knew what I had in my phone and emails, well, it would shock you. I've seen people go overboard and land in the water. I've seen people go overboard, not land in the water. Very graphic. I will never forget it. I've seen fights. I've seen people fall down the stairs and break an ankle. I've seen domestic violence situations. I've seen people get fired. I've seen people get arrested for the dumbest of reasons. But one thing I hate seeing is when I see juveniles, kids or teenagers doing crazy things that is going to cause an incident if they are not careful. I want you to take a real good look at this image here and tell me what you see. If you're looking at what I'm looking at, it does appear to be two children or teens that are sitting and playing on the balcony railing. This picture here has been going essentially viral on the Facebook cruise forums and on Reddit as well. And well, unfortunately, the ship name hasn't been disclosed. It looks like a newer ship. Some people are saying a newer Carnival ship. However, since I can't confirm, I'm not going to say it. I will tell you right now that this is disturbing. And if anybody out there says, oh, they're just kids, they're making a mistake, or maybe they have the supervision of their parents, well, I don't know what to tell you. You need to walk the plank or go seek some help because there is no world or universe or galaxy or dimension where this should be okay. Just imagine for a second here. If these kids were to fall, what do you think would happen? It looks like they are pretty high up on one of the higher decks. I don't know which ship this is, so I don't know the design. I don't know if them falling off that balcony would lead them straight into the water, which still would not be good. At that height, it's kind of like a brick wall on the ground that they would be landing into. Well, I guess cement, not brick wall. You know what I mean? Brick wall is kind of, well, it's vertical, obviously. But you get my point here. If it is maybe like a promenade or outer area, outside area over there, it still would not be good. They would be in a situation where they would either be seriously injured or worse, deceased. I wouldn't put it past somebody out there to say it's just kids being kids, it's harmless and nobody fails, so what's the issue? I'm looking at the worst case scenario. Well, the worst case scenario, I believe that is how people should look at life. Things can happen, and it can happen literally at the snap of a finger. That was a horrible snap. I'm used to doing it with my right hand. Snap of a finger. And should something happen, what do you think would happen when it came to their adult figures, their parents or their guardians? And if they are not there watching those kids, I would hope not, because I don't think any parent or guardian in their right mind would sit there and stand by and let all of that happen. It could be a situation potentially, and I've seen people arguing on the topic, that if those kids did fall and they hurt themselves or worse, how quickly do you think those parents would potentially turn around and try to sue the cruise line and take them to court and talk about how negligent the cruise lines are for making the balcony railing so low? In the cruise world, about 25, 26 times per year, unfortunately, we do see somebody go overboard. And we always argue that there is no way somebody just falls off a cruise ship. It's situations, dumb situations like this, where you see things happen, and then people want to yell and scream and play victim like they have done nothing wrong and it's all the cruise line's fault, which is definitely not the case. I've argued as far as the height, because people want to bring that into the topic in the equation all the time. If you are not Shaq or Michael Jordan or taller than, let's say, 6'5", maybe 7 foot tall. I used to work for the Harlem Globetrotters. I had a friend named Stretch. He was 7'8.5". I can understand him saying, "Oh, I almost fell over," but that is far and in between of somebody being of that stature and height being on the cruise ship. I find it comical that this is even a conversation when people talk about the height and safety measures on board cruise ships, when where if you were to go to a hotel or a mall or resort and you get a balcony, it is going to be more or less around that same height. It's crazy to me how people sit here and make these weird arguments. You're going to get to a point where I was just on board the P&O Iona, for example, where all of the railings on the outer side of the ship, they have plexiglass covering the entire experience. It's not the same. I felt like a goldfish. I wanted some real air and wind coming in through my hair, but you don't get that. What if we got to a point to where I saw also on that ship, they have like a ground balcony, a promenade balcony? Very, very strange. What if they put plexiglass at the end of the day on all of the balconies? At what point is it really going to be of use to people that get balconies? You're just kind of getting an extended room at that point with plexiglass. I know I'm all over the place with this topic, but this is absolutely mind-boggling to me that something like this could even happen. Now, I've seen people arguing that there should be disciplinary action to the family of those kids. I guess you can make that argument if they can go back and look at the camera, the CCTV footage and all that from the hallway and the outside railing and confirm that the parents were, let's say, in the room at the time. Obviously, there should be a fine, there should be a potential banning from Carnival Cruise Line, and of course, they should have somebody come and evaluate this family and see if everybody there is mentally okay for allowing something like that to happen. However, if the guardians or parents were not present at that point in time, I would say there really isn't too much to do. I guess you could ban the kid from being on the balcony, or even further ban the kids from going on the ship. It's a very hard situation, and it's really weird and difficult to navigate, as you could imagine. Maybe somebody's gonna chop it up to the parents and the raising of the kids and reverse it and flip it around and still say that somehow it's the parents' fault. Yeah, I guess that is somewhat plausible if you really think about it, but on the other hand, that is one of those times where I say that kids will be kids, and I'm not saying an approval of what their actions are. I'm saying that kids and teenagers are just simply going to do stupid stuff. Look at that kid that was over in the Bahamas just a couple months ago that jumped off of a cruise ship. It was like a sunset pirate ship thing, and well, I'm assuming there was some drinking involved, but they had just graduated from high school, and the kid got dared to jump into the water, never saw him again. People assumed he got eaten by sharks because there are a lot of sharks over in the Bahamas, and well, it was just a very sad story of one simple, and I'll be arguing, a dumb mistake. I could go on and on about this topic, but I do want to hear from all of you fine folk. What do you think should happen here? Do you think these kids or teens should face some kind of disciplinary action? Do you think the kids, as well as the potential parents or guardians of the situation, should also face maybe a fine or banning or a disciplinary action of some sort? Let me know in the comment section below. I would advise all of you parents out there, please just try to know where your kids are. Don't try. Know where your kids are at all times. Even if you think that your child is an absolute angel that will do no wrong and never lie, keep in mind that we are humans. Humans are capable of lying. And even myself, I am no saint. I have lied plenty of times, especially when I was a child. However, whenever I got caught up, I was met with a belt. But it made me a better person. I'm not really angry about that. My mom and dad let me have it as a kid. Honestly, I would argue that some of these kids need it these days. Of course, not in an abusive way, but hey, there's nothing wrong with a little pop with a belt every now and then. Just not a switch. Don't ever do that to your kids. It's horrible. Of course, on your way out, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts, and of course, go check out my other channel, Jay the Nomad, because I will have my first vlog of my time here on board the Carnival Pride tomorrow. I'll see all of you later. Take it easy.